young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
We're working to connect a region of over 600 cultural bridges between our lands.
Hello, Malma Angeles. We're coming to you live from Manila and Thailand. Hello, Esther.
Hi, I'm Esther Odanga from EBC Thailand Bureau, bringing you the news in the dynamic ASEAN region.
On today's headlines. Envoys from the Association of Southeast Asian Nations arrive in Myanmar for talks with junta leader Min Aung Hlaing as the coup-stricken nation enters its fifth month of crippling unrest.
The Philippines can expect more Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccine doses in the coming months after Russian President Vladimir Putin vowed to increase the volume of deliveries.
The EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, Vice President of the European Commission, Joseph Borrell, and the ASEAN Secretary General Dato Lim Jock Hoi officially launched an EU-funded project called Southeast Asia Health Pandemic Response and Preparedness.
Ahead of reopening in Phuket, Thailand, the island has embarked on a mass vaccination drive to prioritizing vaccines for the popular resort island as it prepares for its reopening by July. Ian Salada takes us there.
Envoys from the Association of Southeast Asian Nations arrive in Myanmar for talks with junta leader Min Aung Hlaing as the coup-stricken nation enters its fifth month of crippling unrest. Take a look. Erwan Penghin Yusof, Brunei's second Minister for Foreign Affairs, and ASEAN Secretary General Lim Jock Hoi arrived in the capital Naypyidaw late Thursday. Senior Myanmar official who didn't want to be named said the envoys will meet Min Aung Hlaing on Friday morning, the official said, without providing further details. The junta's information team told journalists on Thursday that they would shortly release more information on the meetings. ASEAN has led diplomatic efforts to resolve the crisis, but the bloc is not known for its diplomatic clout, and observers have questioned how effectively it can influence events in the country. While the EU and US have ramped up sanctions on Myanmar's generals, the regional bloc has struggled to form a united front. Myanmar has been in chaos and its economy paralyzed since the February coup, and according to a local monitoring group, more than 800 people have died as the military moved to crack down on dissent. The military has justified its power grab by citing alleged electoral fraud in the November poll, which the NLD won in a landslide. Ousted civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi has only been seen in public once since the coup, as you can see here. She has been hit with a string of criminal charges, including flouting coronavirus restrictions during last year's election, campaign, and processing unlicensed walkie-talkies. She also vowed last month that her party would exist as long as the people exist.
A Myanmar journalist who live-streamed his detention by junta forces was jailed for 2 years Wednesday, his employer said, as the military continues its crackdown on critical reporting. Aung Kyaw, who worked for Democratic Voice of Burma, or DVB, was sentenced in the southern city of Maek, the outlet said, under a colonial-era law that criminalizes encouraging dissent against the military. The junta revised law soon after its February 1 coup to include spreading a fake news as a crime. Security forces conducted a nighttime raid on Ong Kiao's house in March, days after he covered a brutal crackdown on anti-junta protests in Maik. He live-streamed his own arrest on DVB's official Facebook page with the chaotic footage showing loud bangs outside his apartment building. "Please don't terrorize," he pleaded in the video. "If you are shooting like this, how will I calm down?" The military junta is illegally detaining Ong Kiao, DVB said in a statement Wednesday, calling for his release. Clear violation of both national and international laws by Burmese junta. A well-known news organization within Myanmar, DVB started as an exile media outlet during the previous junta prior to 2011, broadcasting uncensored reports on TV and radio. The junta revoked its broadcast license in March, sending its journalists into hiding.
Several foreign journalists have been detained, and U.S. citizen Danny Fenster was held while attempting to leave the country on May 24. The Frontier Myanmar news outlet he worked for said Monday it had yet to receive any information on his whereabouts or well-being a week after he was arrested. Managing editor of news outlet Frontier Myanmar, Danny Fenster, a U.S. citizen, was detained on May 24 as he attempted to board a plane to leave military-ruled Myanmar. Fenster, 37, had been working for the outlet for around a year and was heading home to see his family. The U.S. State Department has said it is deeply concerned about Fenster and demanded his release. Frontier said it understood Fenster was being held in Yangon's insane prison. His mother, Rose, told CNN on Sunday the situation was a total nightmare. She said, quote, "It's a total feeling of no control and it's heart-wrenching. I just want my son home no matter what it takes. Please release him and send him home to his family."
From the moment he was dragged into a car in broad daylight on the streets of Phnom Penh on June 4 last year, nothing has been seen or heard of Thai activist Vanchalerm Satsaksit. Thai and Cambodian police insist they are investigating, but with the probe into the apparent abduction going nowhere, his sister Sitanan has vowed to pursue the truth to the last. Watch this.
คุยแล้วท่านบอกว่าท่านไม่ได้รับข้อมูลตรงนี้จากลูกน้องจากที่เราส่งให้ท่านก็เลยไม่รู้ก็อย่างที่บอกมันก็ไม่ได้เหนือความคาดหมายอย่างของเราที่ว่าทางการไทยกับทางการกัมพูชาก็ยังยืนยันที่จะปฏิเสธเหมือนเดิมทั้งที่ก็ผ่านไปแล้ว1 ปีเนาะคือคนจะไม่เข้าใจว่าทำไมต้องออกมาตามออกมาเรียกร้องก็ไม่ใช่คนในครอบครัวคุณไงไม่ใช่น้องคุณไม่ใช่ลูกคุณคือคนอื่นพูดได้แต่ถ้าลองมาเป็นคนที่ประสบเหตุคนที่เป็นผู้สูญเสียเนี่ยจะเข้าใจความรู้สึกตรงนี้ดีค่ะก็ตอนนี้เป็นกระบวนการของทางฝ่ายของเหตุมันเกิดที่กัมพูชานะครับเป็นเรื่องที่ทางนู้นเนี่ยคงจะต้องทำการสืบสวนสอบสวนเบื้องต้นเพราะว่าพื้นที่เกิดเหตุเนี่ยเป็นพื้นที่ในพื้นที่นู้นนะครับ
Vanchalerm, age 37, at the same time of his disappearance, was wanted by Thai police for running an acerbic anti-government Facebook page and for posting satirical videos criticizing Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha. Vanchalerm was living in self-imposed exile in Phnom Penh, having fled Thailand in the wake of 2014 coup led by Prayut, the army chief at the time and now Prime Minister. He was wanted for sedition and for breaching Thailand's Computer Crimes Act, road legislation, and rights groups says is abuse to silence critics. Cambodian police say they have made no progress in case and having refused initially to even launch an investigation, still cast doubt on the idea Vanchalerm was abducted. Sitanan's frustration at the lack of help she has had from the Thai authorities has not dimmed her determination to find out what happened to her brother.
The United States has asked Cambodia to allow a fact-finding visit to a site in the Southeast Asian country where its main benefactor, China, is allegedly establishing a military presence, according to a senior Cambodian official. The official, who requested anonymity, told Kyoto News that U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman made the request during a 2-hour meeting the same day with Prime Minister Hun Sen amid her one-day visit to Phnom Penh. A U.S. State Department statement released after Sherman's departure from Cambodia later Tuesday said she expressed serious concerns about China's military presence and construction of facilities at the base, while she also sought clarification on the demolition of 2 U.S.-funded buildings at the base without notification or explanation. Sherman said a Chinese military base in Cambodia would undermine its sovereignty, threaten regional security, and negatively impact U.S.-Cambodia relations. In response, Prime Minister Hun Sen said Cambodia takes sides with neither China nor the U.S., but is working with both for mutual interest, according to the senior Cambodian official.
In other news, Malaysian teenager Ain, whose visa Saiful Nizam's unexpected rise from anonymous pupil to national leader against school harassment, began when a teacher allegedly joking about rape. When the 17-year-old called out the incident in a viral TikTok clip, thousands of fellow students responded by sharing their harrowing experiences of verbal and physical harassment. Let's watch this.
And we were talking about how there's a lot of laws protecting minors from sexual abuse or sexual harassment. And then he said, guess what? Kalau nanti korang nak rogol, janganlah rogol yang bawah 18. Korang rogol yang atas 18. He really said that. And the girls were like quiet. But the boys, they were laughing. Like, it was so funny to joke about raping someone. He even talked about how that apparently kalau boys kena rape, it doesn't get reported because the boys is apparently sedap or it feels good for them. Like, what kind of... So much more that I want to say, but time is running out. Sorry.
Because as you see, when I spoke out about it, so many hate got towards me. And I don't understand why there is so many backlash and debate towards just making school a safer place. It's just making school a safer place. What is there to debate about it? So what I really want to happen for now is for adults and educators and people of power to really listen to my story and set it right for us children, to protect us.
A 6.1 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast of Indonesia's remote Maluku Islands, the United States Geological Survey said, but no tsunami warning was issued. The strong quake hit at a relatively shallow depth of 31 kilometers, about 127 kilometers southwest of the city of Ternate. Shallower quakes tend to cause more damage, but there were no immediate reports of casualties. Authorities issued warnings about potential aftershocks. Indonesia experiences frequent quakes due to its position on the Pacific Ring of Fire, an arc of intense seismic activity where tectonic plates collide that stretches from Japan through Southeast Asia and across the Pacific Basin.
Meanwhile, rough seas and poor visibility forced Sri Lanka Navy divers to abandon an inspection Thursday of a sinking ship threatening a disastrous oil spill off Colombo's main harbor, officials said. A team of frogmen reached the stricken MV Express Pearl and made a cursory inspection, but could not carry out their mission to examine the hull, Navy officials said. Dutch salvage company SMIT, or Smith, which directed the Navy team, said the underwater inspection had to be called off due to weather issues. However, the Marine Environment Protection Authority redyed oil dispersants and skimmers in case of a leak from the littering beaches and tons of tiny plastic pellets. With the stern now on the seabed and the boat slowly sinking, environmentalists fear an oil leak would cause even greater degradation to marine life. An Indian Coast Guard vessel in the area has equipment to deal with any oil leak, according to Sri Lankan Navy, which requested assistance with the operation. Sri Lanka's Harbour Master Nirmal Silva confirmed there was no oil leak since the vessel submerged. Sri Lanka's Private Center for Environmental Justice, or CEJ, fears the disaster may also cause heavy metal pollution. The vessel was carrying 81 containers of dangerous cargo, including acids and lead ingots. Authorities believe the fire was caused by nitric acid leak, which the crew apparently knew about 9 days before the blaze started. Police said 3 officers from the ship, 2 Russians and an Indian had been questioned and their passports impounded. The ship was heading to Colombo from India. Its 25 crew were evacuated last week. 2 suffered minor injuries.
ASEAN in Focus will be right back. Stay tuned.
This portion is brought to you by Security Bank.
Events happen around us all the time, in our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced, eagle news, because we live in interesting times.
Hey there, Arnie Aquino here at Hatley Castle, one of the filming locations for the X-Men series. Don't forget to tune in to Digital Nest only on Net25.
Welcome back. The Philippines can expect more Sputnik V COVID vaccine doses in the coming months after Russian President Vladimir Putin vowed to increase the volume of deliveries. According to a statement from the Office of the President, President Putin made this commitment in a telesummit with President Duterte on Wednesday. On May 30, the Philippines received 50,000 more doses of Sputnik V vaccines, and the country has so far received a total of 80,000 Sputnik V doses, including the latest shipment. The first 2 batches, composed of 15,000 doses, each arrive on May 1 and May 12. Sputnik V is the second government-procured vaccines that have been delivered to the country after China's Sinovac Coronavac. In the same telesummit, President Duterte and President Putin shared a commitment to further enhance bilateral ties on the 45th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between the Philippines and the Russian Federation.
U.S. President Joe Biden unveiled his plan Thursday for the first of 80 million coronavirus vaccine doses being distributed globally, with 75% of shots dispersed via COVAX program. Let's watch this.
The president has announced a U.S. commitment to sharing a total of 80 million doses by the end of June. This is 5 times the number of doses any other country has committed to sharing. And these 80 million doses represent 13% of the total vaccines produced by the United States by the end of this month. We will continue to donate additional doses across the summer months as supply becomes available.
We made the decision to share at least 75% of these vaccines through COVAX. This will maximize the number of vaccines available equitably for all countries and will facilitate sharing with those most at risk. Finally, I want to talk a little bit about where we are sharing these first 25 million doses. We're sharing them in a wide range of countries within Latin America and the Caribbean, South and Southeast Asia, and across Africa in coordination with the African Union.
Well, Philippine Ambassador to the U.S., Jose Manuel Bay Bromualdez, said the Philippines will be among the first countries to benefit from the 80 million doses of donated COVID vaccines from the U.S. He said U.S. President Joe Biden is expected to announce, and it was already announced this week. Take a look.
So first of all, in-inform ako ng White House just the other day na yun na nga, President Biden is going to announce this week the distribution of 80 million vaccines that are available for the world. No? And this is just the beginning, I understand. Pero tayo, nandun na sa the first batch that will be sent out to the Philippines, is specifically for yung mga close allies of the United States, yun ang inuuna nila, at saka yung mga nangangailangan ng mga bayan. Ano? But we still don't know how many will be given to us. But this donation, without any strings attached to it, so to speak, it's just really part of a program that they have that will start really helping other nations in being able to fight this virus. But the Philippines definitely will receive on the first batch of this 80 million that President Biden will announce sometime this week.
Staying in the Philippines, the country is looking for 3,000 individuals who are willing to participate in the studies on using mixed COVID-19 vaccine brands as well as COVID-19 booster shots, a Department of Science and Technology official said on Thursday. DOST Undersecretary Rowena Cristina Guevara said these individuals must be 18 years old and above, and those who belong in the government's priority A1 to A4 categories in the vaccine rollout. Let's listen in.
Magkakaroon po tayo ng enrollment ng 3,000 participants ages 18 and above. Ngayon po, meron po tayong 12 eksperimento na gagawin na tag 250 bawat isa. Yung pong tinatawag na same vaccine platforms, ito po yung A4 priority group ang ating paggagawan, na ang kombinasyon po nung una ay Sinovac at yung pangalawa po ay AstraZeneca at AstraZeneca. Yan po yung ating magiging baseline. Yung comparator po natin dyan ay po 5 combination na mga A4 priority group. Ito po yung pagkauna mo ay Sinovac, ang pangalawa mo ay AstraZeneca, tapos yung pangalawa naman, Sinovac ulit, tapos Sputnik V yung pangalawa mo, tapos yung third ay Sinovac, tapos Sputnik V na Adeno 5, dalawang klase po kasi yung Sputnik, ano po. Tapos yung pang-apat po ay Sinovac followed by Pfizer, at yung pang-5 po ay Sinovac followed by Moderna. Yung 5 pong huling experiment, ang tawag ng iba ay booster. Dito naman po, gagawin po natin na Sinovac at Sinovac yung first at second dose mo, tapos magkakaroon ka ng third dose na either AstraZeneca, Sputnik V Adeno 5, Sputnik V Adeno 26, Pfizer at saka Moderna. Tapos malalaman po natin, base dito sa mix and match, kung saan po yung tumataas yung immune response ng ating mga kababayan. Dalawang bagay po yung ating masasabing kahalagahan nitong paggagawa nitong mixing and matching ng vaccines. Yung una po, gusto nating malaman kung pwede ba talagang gawin yung mixing and matching. Ibig sabihin, yung po bang efficacy ng ating vaccines, mag-i-improve ba pag nag-mix and match ka o pareho lang? Tapos pangalawa, gusto nating tiyakin ang kaligtasan ng paggawa ng ganitong klaseng mixing and matching. Kasi po, sa ibang bansa, tinatry din po nila. Kaso, gusto nating malaman kung sa Filipino ethnicity ay epektibo pa itong ginagawang mixing and matching.
The official also said while this kind of study is already being done abroad, they want to see its efficacy on Filipinos. Meanwhile, Guevara said 5 brands, Sinovac, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Moderna, and Sputnik V, will be involved in the clinical trials. Local officials are targeting to start a study by July.
Meanwhile, Philippine Ambassador in Tokyo, Jose Laurel V. V said the ongoing coronavirus pandemic continues to halt the deployment of Filipino workers to Japan. Ambassador Laurel noted that Japan is quite meticulous in its vaccination rollout and is currently prioritizing all health frontliners and caregivers. Take a look.
Well, sa ngayon, hindi ho pwedeng magkaroon ng pagbabiyahe o travel dito sa Japan galing sa Pilipinas. it's been cancelled. The only ones that are being exempted are the people in the diplomatic service and government service is essential. Maski yung iba ay hindi pumunta rito and vice versa unless there is a special grant for exemption. And as of now, they still would like to have Filipinos as caregivers and home makers for their aging population. Meron ho kwan. Pero dahil ito nga ang pandemyang talagang napependeho tayo, hindi pinapayagan. Kasama ho, bakit mabagal? Masinsin sila. They are very, very meticulous. And, the Japanese hindi ho nagbabago ang kanilang, ang tawag din patakaran. Basta-basta. They really study their system. Their system is very basic. Bigyan lahat muna ang mga frontliners, mga medical people, mga caregivers, lahat. Susunod, ang mga matatanda. Pagkatapos, anyone below 70, susunod. Ang pinakahuli ang mga talubata, the younger ones. That is the real reason.
Ambassador Laurel assured that all Filipino workers will be covered by the government's free inoculation program. The ambassador said a COVID-19 state of emergency had been placed in Tokyo, Osaka, Hokkaido, Aichi, Kyoto, Yogo, Okayama, Hiroshima, Fukuoka, and Okinawa as the country continues to record 4-digit daily additional cases. Meanwhile, he also reported that the number of Filipinos infected by the virus is relatively low, most of whom have already recuperated. He said one Filipino, however, died in Tokyo, where a total of 56 cases were logged in Osaka. 2 of the 82 Filipino cases are currently undergoing treatment, while the rest have recovered. In Nagoya, the envoy said no casualty was reported. Beyond that, everybody is fine.
To Bangkok now, where a new infection cluster had been found there. Here's an update from Veronica Carino from our EBC Thailand Bureau. Hi, Veronica.
Hello, Esther. Thank you. Unnamed shopping malls in Lat Phrao area has been found as the new source of new infection clusters in Bangkok. As mentioned by CCSA Assistant Spokesperson, Dr. Pimasai Sri Lanka. CCSA spokesman Dr. Tawisin Bisanuyutin said that they will not mention names of venues with infection clusters to avoid public confusion. He added that clusters of infections at particular venue or an area does not mean that the virus is somehow embedded there or that the venue is unsafe. Additional 2 new clusters have been mentioned in construction housing facilities in Bangsu District and in Rajatevi District, increasing clusters in Bangkok to 50, which are being closely monitored by the city officials. Of the new COVID-19 cases recorded today, 189 are prison inmates and 31 fatalities. Cumulative infections since early last year have reached 171,979, including 51,282 who are still being treated in hospitals. 120,697 people have recovered and 1,177 have died. Meanwhile, the CCSA approved 3 international beach volleyball competition programs to be held at Maida Grand Tawaravadi Hotel in Nakhon Pathom Province from June 18th to 27th, July 3rd to 6th, and July 12 and 15. This update is from Thai PBS World. Back to you, Esther.
Thank you, Veronica, for all your updates. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you. Likewise, reporting from Thailand, this is Veronica Carino. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Veronica. Coronavirus-related deaths in Malaysia crossed the 3,000 mark today as the latest resurgence of infections is challenging vaccination efforts. Here's Alfred Balmes from our EBC Malaysia Bureau. Alfred?
Hi, Alma. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
When the pandemic emerged last year, the total number of COVID-19 deaths in the country has surpassed the 3,000 people. The Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah announced the total number of deaths to 3,096. This included the 103 fatalities recorded yesterday. He added that the number of patients requiring intensive care unit treatment increased to a new record of 880 cases, higher than the 878 cases reported a day earlier on Wednesday. The 446 patients in the ICU patient required ventilator assistance. Dr. Noor Hisham mentioned that the number of children under 5 years old dying of COVID-19 or requiring ICU treatment had increased drastically this year. There were 3 COVID-19 deaths involving children below 5 years old last year. Aside from the fatalities, Dr. Noor Hisham said the number of children below 5 requiring ICU treatment had also gone up drastically. The 8 children were admitted to the ICU last year, with 6 of them being under 5 years old. Within the month of May this year, a total of 27 children needed ICU treatment, where 19 below 5 years old. He advised parents and caregivers to play a bigger role in protecting children and babies who have lower immunity. Build a safe environment for them by fully following the standard operating procedure and get vaccinated as soon as possible for those in the adult category. According to Dr. Noor Hisham, the 24 new COVID-19 clusters were detected in the country yesterday, comprising workplace 19, community 4, and education 1 cluster, a total number of 683 active clusters. Back to you, Alma.
Thank you, Alfred, for your update. Stay safe.
You too, live reporting from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. This is Alfred Balmes. We live in interesting times.
Now let's go over to Cambodia, where the World Health Organization and the European Union agreed to join forces to support response to COVID-19 and to strengthen preparedness for future pandemics in Cambodia. Joining us live from Cambodia, here's Crystal Ann Ballesteros. Hi, Crystal.
Hi, Esther. Good afternoon. That is right. The European Union, or EU, and the World Health Organization, or WHO, have joined forces to support preparedness for and to respond to COVID-19 and future health security threats in Cambodia. The EU is investing a total of $3.5 million over 3 years through WHO to support the Cambodian government's preparedness and response to COVID-19 and to strengthen health system. The funding is part of a specific EU-WHO regional health program to support ASEAN members, or the members of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Lee Ailan, WHO representative to Cambodia, said that for more than a decade, Cambodia has been strengthening its healthy security system, including pandemic preparedness. This investment from the EU and partnership will contribute collective efforts to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic and make the country better prepared for public health emergencies. EU Ambassador to Cambodia, Carmen Moreno, said the EU was pleased to help Cambodia through the WHO to strengthen the kingdom's capacity to respond to the pandemic and to build up a resilient health system. This support comes now when it is most needed. Solidarity and collective action are essential to overcome the COVID-19 crisis in Cambodia, in ASEAN, and in the rest of the world. Together, we are stronger, she said. Cambodia has been enduring the third wave of COVID-19 community transmission since February 20. The Southeast Asian nation logged 750 new cases on Wednesday, pushing the national case tally to 31,460, with 230 deaths, the Ministry of Health said in a statement. Back to you, Esther.
Thank you, Crystal, for all your updates. Stay safe there in Cambodia.
Thank you as well, Esther, and happy weekend. Reporting live here in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, I am Crystal Ann Ballesteros, and we live in interesting times.
All right, Esther and I will be back right after this break.
Corporations around the world have been committed to fulfilling their social responsibility, whether it's protecting the environment or working to fight poverty on a local, national, or global level. Ngunit dumating ang pandemic. COVID-19 changed life as we know it, upending businesses and terminating people's livelihoods. Ngunit nakita natin na maraming tumulong na mga korporasyon upang makabangon ang mga maliliit na negosyo sa gitna ng pandemya. Maging ang mga MSMEs din mismo o maliliit na negosyo ay may naiambag na ayuda sa kani-kanilang mga komunidad. Kaya't pag-uusapan natin ang Corporate Social Responsibility o ang tinatawag na CSR. Ano nga ba ito? At uso pa ba ito ngayon na halos lahat ay nangangailangan, maliit man o malaking negosyo? Tatalakayin ito ni Randy Bernardino, ang ating OFB correspondent mula sa Las Vegas, with our guests Maribeth Marasigan, Board Chairperson of the League of Corporate Foundations, and its Board Secretary Reginald Andal. All these in this episode of Open for Business.
Welcome back. EU Foreign Affairs Chief Josep Borrell said ongoing negotiations between the European Union and Indonesia on a trade and investment deal should not be hampered by differences over the palm oil. The EU has embarked on a major plan committing member states to build a carbon-neutral economy by 2050, and that includes promoting the use of biofuels. But it has deemed that palm oil production is not sustainable and that palm oil-based biofuels cannot be counted towards EU renewable targets. Let's listen in.
We have a specific problem, you mentioned, the palm oil. But our relation has to be a broader one. There are so many other issues in which we can cooperate. Certainly the palm oil has been let's say, diminishing or jeopardizing our relations, but we have to overcome this problem. Let me stress the fact that, in fact, there is not a ban for palm oil imports in Europe. In fact, last year the palm oil imports in Europe increased in value by 26%. It means that there is not a ban. There is a problem about sustainability that we have to solve together. I am very much aware of the importance of the palm oil for the Indonesian industry, for the Indonesian people, for so many people that has been taken out of poverty thanks to the exploitation of palm oil. And we have to look for a solution that takes care both of the sustainability issue and development issue. And we will work together in order to do so.
Palm oil is one of the top exports from Southeast Asia's largest economy, and the EU is its third biggest destination. The EU largely imports the versatile vegetable oil for fuel. Palm oil is a key ingredient in a wide range of products, from food to cosmetics, but it has long been controversial. Environmentalists say it drives deforestation, with huge swathes of rainforest logged in recent decades. to make way for plantations. Its use in food and cosmetics has already dropped in Europe, partly due to pressure from green groups on major corporations, but has been increasing in biofuels. Indonesia and the EU began negotiations for a so-called Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, or CEPA, in 2016, with the aim to expand trade, which last year amounted to 20.6 billion euros, and boost direct investment. Now, due to EU's restrictions on palm oil, an Indonesian official has threatened to review the trade negotiation to make sure palm oil is positioned fairly in the planned deal.
The EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy Vice President of European Commission Joseph Borrell and the ASEAN Secretary General Dato Lim Chok Hoi officially launched today an EU-funded project called Southeast Asia Health Pandemic Response and Preparedness. Team Europe, comprising the EU, its member states, and financial institutions, has provided over 800 million euros to assist ASEAN in its response to the coronavirus. The support is given to the health facilities and health workers, provisions of personal protective equipment and sanitizers, as well as technical assistance and institutional support. Let's watch this.
We have been talking a lot about vaccination, and to say that nobody will be safe until everybody will be safe is good, but it's easy to say than to do. And certainly there is a gap on vaccination among rich countries and developing countries. Europe has been doing a big effort in order to provide vaccines to the rest of the world. In fact, we are the main exporters. Half of the vaccines productions in Europe have been exported to the rest of the world. United Kingdom and US have exported almost nothing. We have exported 200 million doses, and recently the European member states agreed on a donation of 100 million doses. This is additionally to the strong financial support that we have COVAX, almost $2.5 billion, in order to provide vaccines to the poorest countries in the world, and this effort has to continue. This effort has to continue. We have to boost the production capacity, because we are not, all of us together, we are not producing enough for the whole mankind, and we are ready to discuss any solution that can increase the production of vaccines, including the waivers to the intellectual property, although we believe that the most urgent thing is to increase the production capacity in the developing countries, and we are very much engaged on that.
Team Europe also contributes to the financing of the COVID-19 Vaccine Global Access, or COVAX facility, a global initiative to ensure equitable access to COVID-19 vaccines to everyone, including citizens of ASEAN. The initial contribution was doubled on February 19 this year, making Team Europe one of the lead donors to COVAX, providing over 2.47 billion euros in funding.
Thailand and Indonesia ended in a 2-2 draw in the remaining World Cup qualifiers in Dubai. To tell us more, here's Gila Pablo. Hello, Gila.
Yes, hello, good afternoon, Alma. And this is our sports news for today. Thailand and Indonesia ended in a 2-2 draw in the remaining World Cup qualifiers in Thailand on Thursday. Indonesia already eliminated, rather. The War Elephants took an early lead thanks to a goal by Narubadin Weerawadadong, but Aikadek Agung Widiana equalized before halftime. Thailand took the lead again 5 minutes after the break, thanks to Adisak Kaison's goal, before Ivan Dismas scored for Indonesia in the 60th minute. Thailand is a member of Group G on Monday, and the Thai team will face the UAE, and on June 15, they will face Malaysia. All games will be held in the United Arab Emirates and will begin at 11:45 p.m. Thailand time. In other Group G matches, Ali Makod and Fabio De Lima each scored a brace in the UAE's 4-0 victory against Malaysia, bringing Bert Van Marwijk's team equal on 9 points with the Southeast Asians. The UAE is currently 2 points behind leaders Vietnam, while Thailand's draw with Indonesia has strengthened their chances of qualifying. Thailand's win also puts Akira Nishino's team on 9 points, despite having played one more game than the other teams in the group. The War Elephants have a small chance of reaching Asia's third and final qualifying stage, with the 8 group winners and 4 best runner-up moving to the next round. And that's our sports news for today. Back to you, Alma.
Very much, Gila. Stay safe. Thank you for your sports news.
You're very much welcome and enjoy your weekend, Alma. This is Gina Pablo reporting live from Bangkok, Thailand. We live in interesting times.
Finally, in our news, ahead of reopening in Phuket, Thailand, the island has embarked on a mass vaccination drive to prioritizing vaccines for the popular resort island as it prepares for its reopening by July. We have Ian Salada for this report.
Sawadee Krap. I'm here at Central Phuket Shopping Mall in Thailand, and today, together with other expatriates in Phuket, I'm scheduled to have my first dose of Sinovac. In line with the Phuket Sandbags program that targets to lift quarantine requirements for vaccinated foreign tourists, which will start on July 1, 2021. Authorities are targeting to achieve herd immunity against COVID-19 by inoculating 70% of its population that includes residents, workers in tourism business, migrant workers, and expats. Health authorities designated a shopping mall as one of the vaccination sites. Social distancing, wearing of masks, and temperature screening are strictly implemented. Registrants are given specific time slots to control the number of people arriving. Upon arrival, consent form was given to each registrant to fill up prior to getting the job. Vital signs such as blood pressure and temperature were checked. Verification of appointment is done by scanning a QR code. Registrants can't be early nor late to their scheduled appointment. Once verification of appointment is done, the vaccine can now be administered. I was instructed to stay at least 30 minutes to monitor myself.
Flow of the vaccine, the vaccine shot today was quite fast because I got the afternoon one, so only waited around 1 to 2 hours. Yeah, so it's actually quite fast. So if your level of patience is there, it's actually quite fast actually. Yeah.
I'm really excited. I think it's an opportunity for Thailand to open up soon and for businesses to get going again, for people to have jobs. I'm really excited and I hope it works out.
So I'm actually 30 minutes into the vaccine right now, so actually everything's okay, everything's perfect. I think, so the condition is okay, and I think, don't have to worry about anything. Yeah.
I think society must open up again and we need international tourists, so please everybody get your vaccine.
Message ko sa lahat ng mga kababayan natin na nandito sa Thailand, magpa-vaccine na po kayo para sa mga hindi pa nakakuha ng vaccine. So makinig po tayo sa balita at alamin po natin kung kailan tayo pwedeng makakuha ng vaccine. And nagpapasalamat ako lubos sa gobyerno ng Thailand, sa school na kung saan ako nagtuturo at nagtatrabaho dahil binigyan kami ng ganitong pagkakataon. Libre sa amin ito.
Get your vaccine now.
If you're fully vaccinated, see you in Thailand soon. Reporting from Phuket, Thailand, this is Ian Silada. We live in interesting times.
Wow. Thank you, Ian. Have you gotten your vaccination yet?
Still waiting for my turn, Alma. How about you?
Yes, the first dose of AstraZeneca.
Oh, wow. That's good news.
Thank you for joining me, and thank you for keeping me company. Have a great weekend.
Yes, Alma. Thank you. And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. But before we go, I would like to greet Brother Willen Regalado and all our viewers from ASEAN region. Take care always po. And stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Esther Odang from EBC Thailand Bureau, and we live in interesting times.
And yes, indeed, special shout out to Brother Willen Regalado. Thank you for looking out for us. And we'll see you back on Monday. I'm Alma Angeles. We live in interesting times.